Hello children of the night, and welcome to Tarot Nights with the Hanged Empress. Here we do shadow work following the moon, and this week we have our new moon in Cancer. And it's actually a transitional moon, looking at the 3 days surrounding it. The new moon is going to be right smack in between Cancer and Leo, which I've been getting a lot of self-care reminders from the universe lately, and I think that is a really good aspect to put into your family. I feel like there's a nice little balance between family and self, and giving enough to each side so that you can be in better harmony in your family space. So I think it's going to be a very interesting new moon with all of these vibes coming in. I can't wait to get into our reads. So let's go. So I keep these little notes up on my screen whenever we switch, so I keep on track with what I'm doing. I'm just looking at Aquarius for whatever reason, and what is it? They can appear to be emotionally detached, and they truly value social contact and the spirit of humanity. So basically, Aquarius, I like the essence or the idea of you a lot more than the actual you of is what I read out of that. I like the idea of you in theory, but the you? Yeah, sometimes it's like that. No shame in telling it like it is, eh, Aquarius? Oh, Six of Swords, just moving on. Yeah, I guess I like that idea a lot better than I like the actual thing. So let's take our thoughts and ideas and move them somewhere else. Let's take flight and see what else is out there. Fair enough. I do feel like we have a destination, though, in mind. Maybe we haven't spoken it out loud yet. We kind of know where we want to go. I think that's why we're not wasting our time. Yeah, I'll take you. You're welcome. Come on in. Join the party. Some fool almost got away from me there. A fresh start. Almost got away from me there. If that new opportunity, that new beginning presents itself to you, it might be a little slippery, it might be a little tricky, it might come and go very quickly. So having the awareness of, oh, I like the idea of you a lot more than the you of you, pay attention to that. If you feel like that, don't miss an opportunity to start a new journey somewhere else. Nine Pentacles, 5 Cups, and the Hierophant. Why are we... I feel like we had to work our way up. I feel like we had to build ourselves from this position, from taking care of slobs. It feels like we had to elevate ourselves from taking care of slobs, people who just are very careless about how they spill their emotional energies. I feel like we had to work through this for a long time to get what we are today. This is how we got here, darling. Yeah, we had to put up with a lot of shit to get here. You betcha. This straight up takes me back to when I was bartending regularly, and I just would run my little tail off serving all these people, and I had a lot of really good customers, don't get me wrong, but there also is those heavy drunks, people falling asleep on your bar, people acting out, people saying mean things, making messes that you gotta clean up, doing stupid things. You gotta put up with all of that stuff, but like that Knight of Pentacles, like that's the Cadillac that I bought with my tips, with a shoebox full of tips put down on my caddy. That's sitting parked right now. Super disappointing, but life happens. Well, that's the vibe. Like, we really had to like push and work ourselves up to this point of elevation. We had to take a lot of shit to get there, but we got there. This feels like preaching to the youth, honestly. Come here, young brothers, young sisters. You don't need to live your lives this way. Elevate. The sun and the tower together, like, back to back, with the Six of Pentacles, like, perfect balance. This pure light and dark. Swift, chaotic destruction. And the sun's shining party. And there's this perfect walk, this perfect balance. And we're just hanging them both. Why? Why, Aquarius? Why? What are you even doing? And why? I'm just gonna sit here with this for a second. I can't, Steven. Every time I think I have you figured, every time I think I know what you're doing, like, what? Do what? Why? There's such delicate scales, too. Like, this is not like the scales of justice or anything intense. Like, these are simple home scales that you use to weigh your spices and grains. This is how we like weigh and measure our paychecks, our pay stubs. And what hangs in the balance of these scales at this point in time, on one side is complete and utter destruction, and on the other side is like pure success. It could go either way depending on which side you put more into at this point in time. Again, we had to accumulate and accrue and work through a whole lot of bullshit, and I think that, like, you know, like yin and yang, and you cannot have the light without the darkness. So I feel like we're just hanging in the balance of this, trying to use our best judgment. There really is an emphasis though on being a good example for somebody at the same time. Like being a good example for younger people, like your children or children around you, or just somebody that you know that looks up to you. Like, it really feels like we don't feel ready, capable 100% to be doing this, but at the same time, here we are in this role, in this position of, you know, having people who are looking up to us and watching our moves, and that's why we have to be so very careful with how we go about our decision making through our day-to-day, because we hang in the perfect balance. We came up out of a lot of darkness to get where we are today. And like, I can feel this overwhelming fear of the backslide, of like falling down the mountain. And if that is a fear that you have, like, don't be afraid of the backslide. It does happen. Yes, the more you allow yourself to backslide, the harder and harder it is to continue to climb back up into the sunlight. But at the same time, you know, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. You got to give yourself a little bit of forgiveness. You have to admit that you are still a little bit young, though you are brave and fierce and decisive and you know what you are doing because you have been through so much. At the same time, you know, we're all a little new. Sometimes we're all new to something sometimes, and that's okay too. We make mistakes. We have to accept those. We have to correct those. We have to do what is necessary to bring in that balance for ourselves. We are not hanging over the pits of hell, dangling on a string, just being pulled up and down between heaven and hell. No, not really. We're flying. We're flying by. You can cut that string with all those swords and take off into your own direction. You can always start over. Okay, maybe you can't always start over exactly the same way, but you get my point. Like, you can always begin again. You can always try again. Don't accept failure as the ultimate destruction and reason for you to fall back into something that you don't need to go back into. Do you really need to repeat the old lessons and old cycles, or can we keep ourselves steady and flying in the air? We don't have to be in heaven or hell. We can be okay with just being here and knowing that we are doing our very best to be a good example for younger generations, for other people, and by helping other people in this world, that is how we make the world a better place. Expressing and giving that care and that love and that forgiveness, not only to ourselves but to others around us. Within reason, within boundaries, within structures. Alright? Okay, Aquarius? You've got this. Just keep your mind set and focused and know that it's okay to falter here and there. Don't let it get you down and keep trying to hold that balance. It's gonna come together. You got this. Thank you, Aquarius. We'll see you next time.